Welcome back to the Comeback Card Collector channel. And today we're going to be looking at a Comc submission. Part of this channel is kind of going over my collection, showing my collection, but also um, going through the process of upgrading my cards, my collection, going through my collection, sorting it, and figuring out what to do with a lot of this stuff that I have. I had a decent sized collection for a kid in the early 90s. I collected pretty much 1990 to 1996, um, pretty heavily those years. And then I left the hobby pretty much completely until the end of 2021. And I came back trying to figure out what to do with my cards. Um, and one of the things I found I could do was I joined Comc and was able to submit 60 cards for basically free. They had a promotion at that time, just had to pay shipping. And that's when I started my account, submitted 60 cards. So, little over 2 years later, I've sold about a third of those. So, I think I've sold 19 out of the 60 cards. Some of them I got fairly decent prices, some of them a little bit lower, but I was just trying to sell the card. And the thing is, buying on Comc, at least right now, if things change and it's for some reason everybody snaps up all the cards, then that would be different. But as of right now, buying is great on Comc. You can, depending on what kind of card you want. If you're looking for like $5 or less cards and dollar cards, Comc is great. You can pick up cards that you would overpay anywhere else, but on Comc you get them real cheap for the most part. Bigger cards probably not as much on Comc, but for the small cards it's great to buy on. And so I'm basically trading cards that I don't want in my collection for so that I can get cards that I do want, cards that I don't have or and never have had but would like to get. So this is my submission. Again, the goal would be to have $5 cards that I'm going to submit. Some of these are probably $2 or $3 cards that I might end up getting, but hoping to get enough to make it worth the 50 cents to submit. By the time I pay postage, that pretty much, the postage covers that promotion, the 25% promotion. So yeah, in total it'll probably be about $15 to submit all these, including postage. And I got 27 cards here. Even if I sell a third of them, and the rest of them will sit on the site for a while, that's okay. But it'll keep my account growing on Comc, and I'll wait for like a better promotion. If they had, you can submit another 60 free cards, then I'd send a bunch of dollar cards, and no problem. Would love to do that. And I have kind of like a bunch of cards ready to go if they would do that. But other than that, it almost has to be like almost a $5 card to make it worth it, unless you can guarantee that you're going to sell that card for $2. If it's a guarantee you're going to sell it for $2, then it might be worth it. But if it's going to be sitting there for 5 years, it's not worth it to send in a $2 card. So that's my thought process behind it. And here's the cards that I'm submitting. I got a couple Emmitt Smiths. Now in a 10, this is a pretty big card. It's hard to get them in a 10. That's why it's such a big card to get if you have a 10. And these are a couple cards that I'm going to submit. We got a bunch of Barry Bonds, 87 tops, cards that I'm going to send in. I think there's over 1,000 of this card on Comc, but it still is liquid. Same with like the Emmitt Smith. I think there's 300 of this card on Comc, but it's still liquid because people want still. If let's say there's a new collector, they weren't around in the 90s, they weren't around in the 80s, and they want to pick up this card, it's still very liquid. Not everybody ever had these cards, so you can still sell them pretty easily, even though they're readily available. And there's usually a bottom. There will be some kind of like investors that go to the popular iconic cards, and if they see it drop below a certain amount, let's say 250, they're going to buy it. Every time they see it drops below $2.50, they'll buy that card and then put it in their account. And with iconic cards, you can do that. So that's why I have sending in my duplicates. I don't need 10 of these, Barry Bonds cards. I'd rather have a card that I don't have, like the 86 Topps Traded that I'd like to get of Barry Bonds. Some other cards that I don't have of Barry Bonds. I would rather have that than a bunch of the same card. Same thing. I got some Griffey rookie cards. I got 3 of the Fleer and 3 of the Donruss. And then, so that would be kind of like the iconic rookie cards that are the junk wax era, but they're still iconic. They're still liquid. That's my first part of my submission, or a bunch of those kind of cards. Now we're going to get into cards that are more lesser players, but that I could get a Comc Monopoly. And so I kind of look for cards that are kind of like rare inserts or oddball kind of inserts, have a low population. It might be a lesser player, but if they still might have a following. So if it's a good enough player and it's a Comc Monopoly, it's a good chance that you can get like $5 out of it. And that's what I'm hoping for on this Wade Boggs on base leader insert, and as well this Albert Bell on base leader. Those two would be Comc monopolies, meaning they don't have, nobody else on the website has any of these listed at this time, and maybe they've sold or no one even submitted them because they just didn't think that anybody would want a Wade Boggs insert. But I think those two cards will do well. And here's a Desmond Howard. I think there's one. This is the C3 Classic Collectors Club. Were kind of a short print, limited production in 1992, and I was a member of that club from 92, 93, 94, I believe. And I think there's only one of this card listed, and I think it was listed for like $15. So I'm going to submit this one and another one in that set. So we got a couple of those. This one as well. Same thing with this. This is an autograph. Jason Kidd, pre-rookie. The C3 Club again. This is 1 out of 2,195. And this is probably the biggest card in the submission that I have. There's one card on the website, and it's listed for $80. I don't really expect to get $80 from this, but if I could get 60, that'd be great. I would take it. And we got Jamal Mashburn autographed. This one's out of 10,000, but it's out of 10,000, but there's 0 on Comc. There's 0 on Comc. So this would be a Comc monopoly, and that's what you want. And so I could set my price. And actually, Jamal Mashburn had a great career. So I'm submitting that one. Tony Kukoc. I'm a Bucks fan, and I went to a lot of games when Tony Kukoc was with the Bucks, but I'm not a huge collector for Tony Kukoc. And this card, because of his European, um, he was a great European player before he came to the Bulls, and plus he was with the Bulls. When he was with Jordan, he has a following, a more international following, and for some reason, this would be a ComC monopoly as well. So I might be able to get $5, $10, maybe $15 for this card. He's a Hall of Famer. Although he didn't, his stats don't pop out at you. He was very much a glue guy, and I loved watching him play. He would pass, just a great passer, great shooter, and a glue guy. But I am selling this. Garrison Hurst, I think he might have 1 or 2 on ComC, and it was like listed at $7. So I was like, well, I'm going to submit it and see if I can get maybe $5. That would be great. Robin Ventura. This is the Collector's Choice Gold, and this would normally be like 50-cent card if it was the regular, but the gold I'm hoping to get maybe $5 because it's so rare, these gold ones, and it is it would be a ComC monopoly. As of right now, it's not on ComC. The Rocket Ismail, I think there might be one card. I think it was listed for maybe $15. So I'm sending that too. And then I got a couple refractors. Any kind of refractor, even the comments, these kind of comments here. Hoping to get $5, but more likely if I can get $3, that would be great. And refractors, because they're kind of rare, they're always good to send to ComC. So that's kind of it. That's my thought process. I had looked at sending a bigger card or two. I had a 77 Topps Kareem in kind of high grade. But I saw that the raw, even though they had a card listed for $50, and my card looks a little better than that card. I looked at the history. You can look at their sales history for any given card. The highest raw copy sold for $33. So I decided I'm just going to keep it and for possible grading instead of submitting it to ComC raw and getting $33. When if I get it graded, I could sell it for 60, 70, 80. And so for some reason, some cards that are on the higher end don't do as well on ComC. I'm not sure exactly why, but $5 under, or they seem to do really well on ComC selling, and I love to buy cards. Any kind of $5 or under cards, first place I look is ComC, because you can pretty much find what you're looking for, and it's always going to be at a very affordable price, very reasonable, and you can pick up those cards that you're missing in your runs or in sets, or if you're looking to do an insert set, such as the on base leaders or something like that. That's a great place to go, is ComC. So that's my thought behind that. Tell me what you're submitting to ComC, or if you wait till they do promotions, or if you just pay the full price. And also, Do you do the elite, try to get it in faster, or do you wait and do the standard like I'm doing? It says it's going to be 16 weeks. Whereas the elite, if you pay $1, it's 2 weeks, which is quite faster, but I'm okay with waiting. Let me know what you think on that as well. Okay, thanks for watching.